So is it good, this rock? I beg your pardon, sir. The rock, is it worth coming all this way? Well, as rocks go, sir, I think you could say it's first class. Even when you are 1,000 miles from it, you can't go a day in Australia without seeing it. And then you see it, and you are instantly transfixed. It is exactly what you expected it to be. You know this rock. You know it in a way that has nothing to do with calendars and the covers of souvenir books. Your knowledge of this rock is grounded in something much more elemental. In some odd way that you don't understand and can't begin to articulate, you feel an acquaintance with it, a familiarity on an unfamiliar level. It is emotion much too faint to be understood or interpreted, but somehow you feel certain that this large, brooding, hypnotic presence has an importance to you at the species level, and that in some way your visit here is more than happenstance.
Deep in the center of Australia lies the colossal rock formation called Uluru. It dominates the flat desert plain in which it lies, appearing to rise sheer from the desert floor. It has been called a cathedral in the desert.
Uluru is, no matter how you approach it, totally arresting. You cannot stop looking at it. You don't want to stop looking at it. As you draw closer, it becomes even more interesting. It is more pitted than you had imagined, less regular in shape. There are more curves and divots and wave-like ribs, more irregularities of every type than are evident from even a couple of 100 yards away. You realize that you could spend quite a lot of time just looking at the rock, gazing at it from many angles, never tiring of it.
Two boys began playing at the waterhole, mixing water with the surrounding earth. They piled up the mud higher and higher until it was the size that Uluru is today. They started playing on it. They sat on the top and slid down the south side of their mud pile on their bellies, dragging their fingers through the mud in long channels. The channels have since hardened into stone and now form the many gullies on the southern side of Uluru.
They made a huge bonfire under Lunkata, the slow, fat lizard, as he struggled upwards to his camp. The greedy and dishonest thief choked on the smoke and was burned by the flames. He rolled down, leaving strips of his burned flesh stuck to the rock he touched. As his flesh came away, Lunkata got smaller and smaller, until eventually he became a small, solitary stone.
Many of the warriors' spears hit the rock face with such force that they pierced it, leaving a series of round holes.
Kunia, the python woman, came from far away to hatch her children at Uluru. She carried her eggs strung around her neck like a necklace and buried them at the eastern end of Uluru. As she left and entered her camp, she formed deep grooves into the rock. They stood face to face and gashed at each other with their stone knives. Delirious from pain and loss of blood, he made a track that is now the watercourse that flows into the gorge. The places where he rested as he bled to death are now 3 pools high up on the rock face. She was overcome with grief and anger. She raced along the curves of the rock to the waterhole and scooped up sand and saturated it with poison.
The idea that ancestral beings shape the landscape is known to many through the awareness of sacred sites. It is possible to think of the features at such sites as a living record of the ancestral saga. These stories of the mythological past are expressed in all forms of Aboriginal culture. They are the core of ceremonial life, the theme of ritualistic songs, the subject of their art. In these ways, the Aboriginal people of Uluru keep alive the ties that bind them so closely to the rock, the great sandstone rock under whose shadow they were born.